All right, so yesterday I did a video that I'm gonna upload about how to set up this porta-cable dovetail jig. I did it based off of 3/4 inch material. So that's the key for setting up. Go watch that video about that. I mentioned in that video that I show how to set up your router. I personally use the DW618 just because I have it, and it has the plunge router base that will allow for the specific size collet for the router bit for the porta-cable dovetail. So I can't remember. I'll have to do some research, or if you watch this video and can't remember the specific angle of this bit. I think it's maybe a 15, if I can remember, but I could be off on that, so don't quote me. So anyways, like I mentioned on the last video, over here there's a little dial, a little knob, and I'll show you how to adjust that here in just a second. But I had this. I just pulled it out of my portable router table over here. That has the 1/4 inch groove bit for some doors I'm making. I'm gonna pull this bit out. I'm gonna put the dovetail router bit in there. I know some people like to mark their router bits for depth if they have everything set up. I've attempted that, but it doesn't always work for me. It could be off by a minute amount, so I still got to do some adjusting. So anyways, so I just like to take it, get it all set up and inserted into, if it'll go, into there we go. There it is. You got to make sure you get it all the way down so that it locks. Yeah, I made that look harder than it really is. I need to clean up the inside of this and put a little lubrication on the router body itself. It's getting a little scratched up from being pulled in and out because I used this router. I need to get another one of these router bodies so that I can keep this set up specifically for my dovetail jig, and the actual solid base is for this router is in my portable router table. It's just a Craig router table. I use it for small stuff, small profiles and such, because my big infinity router table is downstairs, and I use that one for it's actually set up right now for to edge boards so that I can do my glue ups and such. I'm going to be potentially putting together a second table, but we'll get into that in another video. I like the color and look of the one I made. Not a table, countertop, my bad. It's a butcher block countertop. I like it look, but I've had issues with blotchiness because of the stain color. I've tried pretty much anything I can find for pre-stain, even homemade remedies and such. So I've worked through about 2 months of that, trying to figure that out, and I just came to the conclusion it might be easier to just make a whole new one out of some different wood that's going to create less blotchiness. But like I said, we'll get into that in another video. This video is mainly about setting up your router. So I'm going to double check. I'm going to set up my, so let me turn this so you can see. I got my depth. Thing I like about this router, and I'm pretty sure the Festal 2400, the OF 2400, which I plan on purchasing at some point, and the 1400. This one has 4 height settings, which is absolutely amazing. So if you're doing multiple plunges and passes, you can do it in ease. You can set it up so that it goes, so that it starts at a shallow depth and you work your way up to the full depth. You got to remember which setting you have it set on. I like to keep it all the way down. I like to plunge it until it hits, which it is. And then I like to, oh, where's my lock? I like to lock it in with my lock over here, and then adjust any micron that I have here, so that I have everything locked in. With that being said, I always like to take it, flip it over. The other thing I like about this this base is it has the dust extractor port, which I will be hooking up to my CT26 at some point when I start doing these dovetails. So I'll probably run these plywood ones real quick once I get this all set up. I've got to do some minor adjustments on the jig, which I didn't do yesterday, but that's okay. So it's 3/4 inch material, so I know I've got to have, to be half of that, I've got to be 3/8 in depth. So I always like to take a depth gauge or a setup block. This is my 3/8 from iGaging, and double check, not from the base. You don't want to check from the base, because that's not going to be where it cuts out. It's going to cut out from the top of the collet. So you got to remember that, because the collet depth, this collet actually came with this router jig, so that you can actually set it up. But you need to double check, make sure the thickness is good, and then double check to make sure that it's good down here, which I need to actually add just a little bit. So I'm going to find, let's see, do I have any scraps? Let me make some scraps real quick. So let's do this. All right, looks like I need to adjust that up just a little bit. Looks like I pressed it down when I had my hand on it earlier, but that's okay. I'll get it all reset up. There we go. Nice little snug up. Second piece. So the part that I've got to adjust on here is my offset. It's off ever so slightly. I need to set that there. I mentioned yesterday you need to check let's see. let's do it this way. Let's just set it up to match what I have set up. That way when I put it together, it will actually do what it's supposed to do. Let me pull over my dust extractor, get it all set up. So the thing I like about this, the hose just slips right on there. Trying to get all this set up. And the reason I like this router base specifically is because my hand fits perfectly to keep the lock button down. So I'm going to run this real quick. It might get a little loud, so you might have to turn the volume down. So until I'm done running this. But I will tell you, what I found the easiest is to run a quick little pass across the front and then run in and out, and it does a really good job. So don't mind that. I didn't have it on that good. So this is why I always run a template, a partial. It looks like I might be okay, but we'll see here in just a second. I am actually perfect. So as you can see, it does a great job doing the dovetail. It gives me that half blind dovetail that I like. So always make sure that you check your setup depth, check your accuracy for everything. And if you're running a lot of drawers, make sure that you check everything on here regularly as you're going, to make sure no minor adjustments need to be made. Make sure that your offset guide didn't get pushed. Check the center on everything. Make sure that it's all set up good. And always keep in mind that you need to double check on a regular basis your setup for here, so that you can actually make sure that all your dovetails work properly. And as you saw, the dust extractor got most of the dust, not all of it. Usually it throws out a lot more than that, but it just is what it is. I'll get it cleaned up later. So anyways, I hope this helps. I know it's a fairly, a semi-long video on whatever, but I wanted to put as much detail as possible into it. So remember, love the process.